So while I watched the games, I found another interesting game in this book that was played by Petrosian against Razuvaev, and I hope you will enjoy it. Okay, so this game was played between Petrosian, Tigran Petrosian, the former world champion, and Yuri Razuvaev. In 1983, it was the Moscow Championship of the URSS, and nothing. Let's see what happens. D4, knight f6, knight f3, e6, e3. This should be the Colle system, right? Because it blocks the bishop inside. It's a very interesting opening, and I have lost against it. d5, bishop d3, c5, b3, knight c6, castle, bishop d6, bishop b2, castle, c4, b6, knight c3, and bishop b7. After the opening, a symmetrical position has arisen with a tense position in the center. White's small advantage consists in the right to choose how to clarify the central position. So here we have the center, and here there is the tension. They are ready to fight. How do you exchange? So you stop, because you see, this is just move 9. We are at move 9, move 10 for white, and you need to decide how to continue. It's fair that for a club player in a tournament, this could be also the end of his opening theory. So, do you take with this? Do you take with this? Do you play knight b5? And as you can see, you could even use, if you like to play d4, this position for your own training, because in this way you save time on the clock when you are in the real game. Okay, Petrosian played c takes d5, e takes d5, d takes c5, and b takes c5. Now, I don't know if you have ever seen games like this, but I have seen games where there are these two bishops pointing at the white king and things didn't go well. I can tell you that, and it was amazing. You see this kind of double bishop attacks, and they are incredible. Let's see what the comment says. Thus Petrosian has made his choice, giving his opponent hanging pawns. These are hanging because nothing is defending them, against which the ex-world champion loved to play. Rook c1, d4. As you can see, he is opening the diagonal. Black does not want to defend passively and tries to head down a tactical route. And now again, this is a complex position. It's just move 13, and as you can see, there are a lot of possibilities. E takes d4, knight b5. So what do you do? What is that you will play in this situation? Petrosian played knight b5. As you can notice, Grandmaster level player, they don't like to lose the bishop generally, and this is what Razuvaev did. Bishop e7, e takes d4, a6, a tactical nuance which had to be seen when playing 12d4. Now, after knight f3, c takes d4, knight c2, queen d5, the queen goes here. As I told you, he starts to prepare an attack there. Black obtains the advantage. Okay, let's see what happens. Obviously, Petrosian was surely familiar with these positions, and he plays d5. so as to leave the opponent with a weak pawn on c5. Knight takes d5, knight c3. At first glance, it may seem that the tactical complications have ended in white's favor. He has managed to break up the enemy pawn center. However, black's possibilities are far from exhausted. Knight f4, bishop c4, and here there is a line in case white would have played bishop e4, okay? So the author of the book, but in this case this comment is written by Razuvaev for this game. They have covered their own tracks and possibilities, so they did a more extensive work. I just decided not to show you every possible variation because it will be maybe boring, and honestly you can also buy the book and discover them for yourself. Knight d4, knight takes d4, wow. Did you notice from just, we are speaking from like, I don't know, 3-4 moves ago that everything was cluttered and you couldn't see anything, and now you have an open diagonal that is a sniper. It's a sniper at killing the king. It's not a joke. It's not a joke. Look what happens in just 3-4 moves. Okay, let's see what happens. Knight takes d4, c takes d4, knight e2, and knight takes g2. Boom! That's amazing. The tactical complication which began with 12 d4 and in black's favor. So we are at move 19, 7 moves later. 7 moves later. Queen takes d4, queen takes d4, and knight takes d4. Now, you must not play this because otherwise black would play this and it becomes a problem, okay? So that's why knight takes d4, because it keeps control of f3. But bishop f6, rook f d1, rook f d8, bishop a1, knight h4, bishop e2. As you can see, everybody's fighting for this. This is not a joke. If you lose control of that, you're going to get a check that is going to fork your king and something on d4. And rook d7. Rook d7 is a dubious move. It seems that it was stronger to play rook d5. It's incredible. Also, a grandmaster like Razuvaev strangely didn't find the right square. Bishop g4. Okay, so the threat was okay, interesting. So now he has to play bishop d5. I think now he should have made probably a better bishop d5, because he cannot play this. Sorry, rook d5, because he cannot play bishop f3. So that's why rook d7 is not good, because it goes under attack immediately. But what happens after rook d5? After rook d5 there is this, rook c7, rook g5, rook takes b7, rook takes g4, king f1, and rook d8. And now we have rook e1. It's a good move. This way white escapes from the pin. It turns out that in the event of capture, bishop takes d4. What do? Because you see that in reality this is also defending, so the back rank checkmate is not gonna happen. Well, there is an amazing move. If he plays this, boom, and this becomes a problem, right? Because then you are going to have a back rank problem. So here we see that white escaped the pin because it wasn't protected with rook. But black finds another good move, h5. A good reaction to the unexpected turn of events. So let's see what happens now. h3, rook g takes d4, bishop takes d4, rook takes d4, rook e8, king h7, and rook takes f7. In the resulting endgame, white retained chances of a draw, thanks to the extra pawn on the queen side. His immediate task is to create a pass pawn there, so he needs to create a pass pawn on this side, so as to deflect the enemy forces, the black enemy forces, on the king side, okay? It should be pointed out that the remaining play up to the time control gives the impression of being affected by mutual time trouble. Okay, in fact we are at move 33 and it's possible that both of them were starting to have time trouble. The game continues with knight g6, rook c7, rook d2, rook e2, rook d1, rook e1, rook d2, rook e2. So this is clear, okay? You know why they did this? Because this they gain time for reaching the time control, but probably in that time, we are speaking of 1983, was at 40 moves. So they repeated not for wanting a draw, but because they wanted to gain time on the clock. So after rook e2, rook d5, rook c4, knight e5 attacking, rook a4, a5 protecting the pawn, and rook e3. It was worth considering the immediate b4, but again this is the last move before the time control, so I guess they were really low on time. King g6, king e2, and king f5. Here the game was adjourned. Analysis showed that black was faced the greatest difficulties in converting his advantage after move like a3 and h4. However, in the game there followed b4, a takes b4, rook takes b4, bishop g5, and rook e b3, a mistake, the decisive mistake. And it seems that also if he played this move, black still retained chances for winning. And here there is an analysis. And knight c6, and white resign, because in all variations he loses the exchange. But he also loses after rook f3 because of king e5. Okay, so that's the real problem here. So obviously the problem here is this, okay? If you move this somewhere else, like here, boom, you get everything. So unfortunately the knights are what they are. Some bad guys. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this game of Razuvaev against Petrosian, that he was a world champion. Clearly, if he was able to win a world champion in this way, he was a real strong player. Eventually pick up the book and read all the other games and also the articles by Razuvaev, which are very interesting. And I think this book has been published in English, so this is something that someone should pick up, because it's really a beautiful book and Rubinstein was really a strong player. And the analyses are by Razuvaev.